It's been 3.5 days, and the Calcat thing, right here, the Transformer thing, and what I was doing was typing up the storybook version of Space Bridge to see Space Bridge from 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, late 2015, early 2016. Yeah, 2016, 2 years ago. Was early 2016, so it's now 2018. It has some interesting issues that were relevant at the time. Now with Robotech, the Endless Circle, Mark's Cards and I, and then the other Cowpoke and them, were able to go back and make a 65-minute episode into a 90-minute episode. And that allowed us to fix about 15 to 20 minutes of information that was little plot holes here and there. With this one, you really can't fix it. Fixing it would detract from how it's put together as a story. It was originally done as a live story, so it wasn't meant to have a script. And it shows, regrettably. There's some of this is just odd. It is written like I was 16 when I wrote it, even though I wasn't. It was written like an original Storm of Robots Alacom story from back in the day, and that's how it plays. And that's both good and not so good. But I realized what I was doing, even though, it was 2 years ago, and clearly now it's 30 years after those, those other stories. It's a fun Transformers homage. It could be polished, but should it be polished? I mean, you have Space Bridge, and then we're going to have other stories from Space Bridge from the motion, the other things that have nothing to do with it, and we're not going to really worry too much about script redos things. I think if you want to, in the next couple days, make a polished version of the raw story, you could, in essence, go back to the video, maybe the uncredited video, back before it was the second printing, and you could take stuff that was a little off in it and polish that. You could take, if you just trimmed, I'm not saying you have to change the length or add anything to it, but if you just trimmed some stuff and added a little bit of stuff, not dialogue. You got plenty of dialogue, but if there's a few gonks here and there that make the story a little bit incomprehensible in the first 20 minutes, and a little bit incomprehensible in the last, maybe I would say 40 minutes. There's two 45-minute episodes, and the first part of each 45-minute segment has some issues. The second part of each 45-minute segment is fine. So it's like, okay, the first part of this was probably on the fly. And we're probably just putting things together and going, no, this goes together. And there's a little bit of confusion. I noticed you added stuff where they had characters going time warp or whatever and saying, oh, we're teleporting here and there. That's fine in the second half of the first story, which is part 1B, part 1A and B. That's fine because they explain what they're doing. But in the first part of the act, when they're doing it, it's a little confusing. You could go back and trim out some stuff that didn't work, and or just here and there snip some stuff and make a sort of a director's cut, final cut thing. And the Purr Beast is right here. Yes, he is. He's a Purr Beast. Oh, he's so cute. He's the Purr Beast. He's on the set. Oh, look at the kitty. So Houdini kitty. The Purr Beast. Well, I've gone over the script of the movie from 2 years ago. And I have decided that we do not need to, we really can't add anything to it. It would look weird if we threw in like stock footage from battles happening or other Transformer stories happening. It would be really, really strange if we did that. It wouldn't work. So I'm going to throw in what I am going to add, though. What I can add, because it's got to match the material, is the shifting of the bioship biomass in the ship. And you could use this footage throughout the movie. It's only a few seconds of each to indicate the passage of whatever robot is doing something different. Very similar to how they did Transformers Generation 2, and they sort of put that computer effects over the existing footage because they thought it looked cool, but it really didn't. In this case, we're doing it on purpose. In this case, we're actually showing walls and floors shifting. In this case, we're doing artsy shit to our movie. Artsy stuff, and yeah, to add to make it look less like the fourth wall is broken and less like there are plot holes where Decepticons aren't where they're supposed to be or Autobots aren't where they're supposed to be. If they put a shift in there, it makes it look like an intent was to do that and that they're teleporting. We don't need to show it shot any new video footage. That's good. But a few seconds here and there of something shifting and moving, yes, that's a good idea. Might actually visually help the story. Also, jumbling sets and stuff could be construed as the destruction going on. So yeah, there are at least 5 or 6 scenes like that. They're all kind of the same, so I'm just going to shoot some extended footage of Transformer Space Bridge and intersperse it throughout the live 2 movies that were shot, or the 2 movies that we shot back in the day, to add these visual effects, essentially finishing the movie. This is Calcat to Calcatster. Yes, and I have made a behind the scenes thingy, little thing on. I've gone back and messed with the first episode of Space Bridge, the first part story that's 45 minutes or roughly. So it's the 2 45-minute ones, and actually the version that I did the book version for was, and then put online. I didn't check the dates on that one, and it was actually a rough cut. So a lot of the errors that were seen on it were fixed in the final print of the 2 episodes as they aired on the YouTube channel. So those are the finished video, and the 90-minute thing that was put up on the channel is a rough cut, basically, with some of the titles mixed around and some of the gonks not taken out. The second episode had some gonks, but they're there and they're still part of it. It still makes sense. The second 45 minutes. The first part had a few that were confusing, so I went back and there were mainly transition problems. That's usually the case with these Transformers movies. And so I went back and added 6 transitions where they needed to be concerning the movement of the spaceship, space vessel thing that's a spaceship. Whereas, because it was filmed as a stage play thing really quickly in like 7 days, I didn't realize at times when the good guy and the bad guys were on the same set in the same shot. So I had to go. So what I did is I took I went by and trimmed where the bad guy shows up in the shot so that he's not there in the scene unless he's being talked to. And the Autobots go, like, at one point Optimus Prime goes, "Where did Megatron go?" And he was just there. So there's got to be like that, for instance. So I had a wall. I threw in a wall shifting, like she closes it, takes Megatron away, presumably, and he can't find him. So then Megatron comments on it. Well, now you get to see what that scene should have been. There should have been a wall closing behind him because I didn't film it. I didn't want to add any new dialogue. I didn't want to go back and redo the fight scene. What's the point? It's a fan film. It's fine. It's Trans Tech. It's very reminiscent of the stuff I did when I was a teenager. It's a throwback to that, and it's a sequel to the Trans Tech Saga and the Robotech Endless Circle. And next will be more stories. not based on necessarily Cal-Cat stories, but on other TFalt.com, toys.com, and mush sites that we'll see how well that works. Some of them are going to be bad, but yes. You can tell from the story, though, with a double-spaced page typed up, all the text at 52 pages double-typed text is roughly, 50 pages times Roman is roughly 90 minutes. So that's what that is. If there's no transitions, or very few transitions. It's just, as a Transformers fan film, it's pretty decent. It could have been better, but it was filmed very quickly. The Robotech one is a little better than this one. So there's other stuff. Also, all those sets that you saw in the background were for these uptakes shots. They were not for Optera, as it was hinted at another thing on there. It's not that at all. It was just this. We probably are not gonna do a flashback to the 2030s unless it's like a dream. Why? I don't know. We're probably not doing that. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so that's my update. Yeah. I want to see what's going on here. Okay, next I want to do the Archangel arriving and contacting Rick Hunter. But at that point, I think that's, at least it's going to be all right. We need to be back to the ship now. Now, this other stuff that's about Reinhardt and the ship and them fighting Edwards, like in the book Crossing the Rubicon, they were on the planet the whole time. They were doing the G.I. Joe the movie kind of thing with the, oh, she's in a coma or she's not kind of thing. So this is a spoof of. So, fire cannons, quit stalling. That's on the planet, though. That they're in their mecha at that point, yeah. Awareness of the protoculture. So yeah, there's a lot of stage direction here, which wouldn't be really. Prometheus, the ship was phasing correctly. Similar to, it arrived at a planet that was presumed to be Tyrol. Made it back to Tyrol. Let's begin repairs. That's good. But the Lisa will recover. So we've got Lang saying that. The Rubicon. We could do the Rubicon scene here. Okay, we're going to do that. Okay, I'm going to need a guy called Lang, I guess. That could be on speakers, I guess, but, yeah. We showed Dana right there. That ain't gonna make no sense. What is that? What is... So, it does appear to be in some weird-ass mode. What the f... Okay. It's an interesting shot. So it actually is Rick Hunter talking to her. Now this scene makes sense. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Projection from behind the screen of what Rick Hunter is seeing. It's a little weird, but kind of works. How about we do this instead of that? Just because that looks a little odd that he would be doing that. Broken arm, of course. Of course, we defeated the Invid at Optera. That's the line, so yeah, come on. Let's see. Oh, it's a little yellow, isn't it? A little brighter. That's all right. It's phasing out. Okay. Okay, Rick Hunter addressing Dana. Maybe if he's in the same shot, that might actually work. Yeah, if he's sort of behind, because yeah, he's on the view screen. Actually, is there something suspending? Oh, come on! Oh, what is today? The 19th or the 20th or something like that? Somewhere around there. it's March 2018. And I just shot a scene of Star Trek. I shot a scene on the Space Bridge set of the SDF-1 / SDF-3 / Prometheus Space Cruiser. Ooh. This is one of the sets that was left over from Transtech that we kept in pieces, along with the Chimera footage and stuff. We're going to get around to filming. I really wanted to get around to filming, finishing Chimera. But in the meantime, do a little Robotech here with the Space Bridge. And yeah, the set still holds up. Looks great. I threw in a shoebox in the back just to hold it up. The other parts, the walls and whatnot, are from that time period. The 30% or so that were recycled from the original Transtech series was mainly the set. And the furniture was redone for the other thing. But we kept the Robotech furniture. And yeah, so it's really cool. We have all the figures, the G.I. Joes, playing Robotechs because they're the right scale. They're not scaled to the Star Trek people, though, so they look really different. So yeah, this set does not work with Star Trek people. It works with these guys or Transformers. That's the way it is. It's roughly 2/3 scale off so that it fits with both. It's a Robotech set. So this was the episode was titled. We're doing here is an Invid episode. Let's see what we. Oh, turn the camera this way. This is was going to be called Children of the Shadow, but we couldn't use that. It was going to be called Return of the Shadow. We couldn't use that. It was going to be called something else, Requiem, whatever. Ended up calling this, which is a very tentative script, and this is a very tentative film shoot tonight. That came up with Return of the Shadow. Okay, Return. Everybody likes Return. This is the footage that also will have some Optera bits in it. And so we shot some Optera bits. There is no Optera footage beyond these bits in the script. The script includes the bits that we shot of Optera. Well, you're going to see Optera later when we film that part. But the bits on the ship, the Rebel thing, all of that, we didn't have any script. We didn't have a story. Mark's Car's advisor. Be a little bit of a script at least, so that you can follow the dialogue. And so I wrote a script. This is going to turn out to be, when it's all together, roughly a 21-minute, 22-minute episode. Then there'll be another episode in 2018 on the Earth in the other timeline, which will be Return of the Shadows Part 2. This will all be put together as a 44-minute episode, second update of Space Bridge, but this is the Robotech part of it. So that's the Robotech G.I. Joe part of it. I think probably both parts are going to be Robotech G.I. Joe part, and you won't see any Transformers in the first 44 minutes. It'll mainly be the Robotech people trying to figure out what's going on, and the G.I. Joe people figure out what's going on. They'll see like brief glimpses of Transformers, but mainly this is about the Robotech people. So this is a true Transtech follow-up. We have some things. Well, you might see some Transformers in that they'd be Robotech battle suits and stuff like that. The Rebels. There wasn't any other stuff shot, so and we didn't write any other stuff. We could write other stuff, but I'm not really going to go back. It's sort of like if you showed an event that was already there, like a Romulan War, or wanted to show how the Galactica took off from its base, or some other story like that, or wanted to show Rogue One or whatever, Star Wars, where we don't need to know what the people did, whether running the Kessel Run or something. We don't really need that. So if you're going to do something like the Kessel Run from Star Wars, or show a little bit of the Romulan War, just show a teeny bit of it, because there really isn't anything there. You've already seen it in some form or another, or you've seen glimpses of it. Shadow Chronicles, the story did it well by just showing a little bit of Optera, but not enough of it to be anything. that's kind of what we're doing here. And it does kind of match up with the Tommy Yoon books, and not the Jack McKinney ones. The Jack McKinney ones have Lisa Hayes having a kid, which was stupid. And then, like, it didn't go anywhere, so that she didn't need to have one. So the Tommy Yoon books decided, oh, no, she actually loses it in the battle. Or she's pregnant, but she loses it. They kind of imply that in this story. They don't say it specifically. I don't think. I think they do in the other time. Like, they sort of, Rick Hunter mentions it. But it's not like, it's a dramatic moment. It's not like that plot device needed to be there either way in that particular context. But it does make it more dramatic. It gives him more reason to go down to visit Edwards on the planet, try to stop him. There's a lot of, the Invid Regent War thing. The Rome thing is a nod to the last Jack McKinney book that dealt with the Invid of that generation. They're crossing the Rubicon. It's from the Sentinels, so it's a reference to the Sentinels. And the Sphericians and the Cariburians are another reference to the Sentinels. Yes, so there is new Sentinels dialogue here. We're not going to do the Sentinels. I just wanted to show, again, like, just pieces of stuff that was happening. I didn't need that necessarily. This is a neat set, though. This is the Robotech set. I had to cover up this because it's in the cover. But yeah, so everybody's on the bridge there. The Prometheus is just another ship. Yeah, I know one of the aircraft carriers is called the Prometheus, but in this timeline they've named a ship after that too. And the idea that I know about Macross the movie and all that other stuff, and that was completely different in the movie version, and not Robotech the movie, Macross the movie. And I'm just kind of cheekily referencing stuff. I'll be referencing Macross 7 in this, apparently, a couple of times. Must be silly. Kelly put that in there. Oh, well. Kelly Bullocks. Yeah, he put that in there, probably. Reference Max Sterling being captain of the SDF 7. Oh, okay. No one will get that joke, but those die-hard Macross fans will be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool! No one else will get it. So yeah, he just loves his Macross 7. We already kind of referenced that in the Circle. So this is the end of the Circle sequel, kind of, follow-up. And the Bioship stuff is in the current time. Well, set in 2046, to jump back in time to 2018. So yeah, this stuff with the Invid War, though, is 2028. It's a Tyrol battle, 2028, 29, 30. They arrive back at Tyrol and they head over. Their expedition is on its way to stop him. And there's a little bit of a weird chronological time gap in there, but yeah, because like Love Live Alive screws that up by having Max Sterling arrive in 2030. Not Max Sterling, but Wolf's expedition. And actually, that would have been more like 2031 or 2032, because Lancer wasn't on the planet for that long when the Invid War actually started. Of course, then the other one kind of screwed it up by making it 2044, I guess, in the other in the end of the Invid War, but that couldn't really be 2044. It would have been more like 2042. But we'll give them that. Sure, why not? The dates are a little screwy because of time warps and stuff. Whatever. So yeah, this is the crew on the ship and stuff. Yeah, so right on. Cool. So we're done filming this for tonight. I think I got a lot of good stuff on it. This is the ship stuff. The other stuff's esoteric and a little easier to film. You got to be careful with this set. It is literally 18 years old. This set has been around forever. It's at least 15 years old. Maybe in its current form, it's more like 15. But yeah, it's glued together in parts. But yeah, to apart. So yeah. Transtech. Turn the camera back over to me, I guess. Robotech. Macross. Sentinels references and Macross 7 references. So yeah, cool. Got nothing else really except that it's gonna be, well, after this episode is completed with the Invid stuff on the Invid bioship, which is really, and of course Optera itself, the Optera battle. Timinus and Tim Cattrall and I never actually shot anything from that. We said, oh, it would just be cool to show that. So all there is, it's kind of like the Battle of the Five Armies movie where there wasn't really a battle, but Peter Jackson added one. Well, I'm not going to do what he did. I'm not going to add like a movie tacked onto the end of something that didn't need to be there. It's like maybe 5 minutes of the battle. It's just the chief points. It's the defeat of the Regent and the defeat of Edwards, and how Reinhard at that point was the heroic admiral guy. At that point, he's going to fire the cannons and devastate the Invid. At that point, before they put him on the assignment of going back to Earth and trying to liberate it from the Invid. Yeah, so they also referenced Macross 7. And other things. They reference Attinger at one point in there too. They throw that guy in there from the Michael Bay universe. So a couple of the other stories have not been processed yet, let's say. This one is one that I put together because sure, why not? I gotta have a starting somewhere. It can't just be jumping into other fan stories that aren't related at all. Some kind of intro thingy, putting them in 2018, which happens to line up with Trans 2 Intergalactic Guardians. Cool. From that we can't show you, unfortunately, because of the music. And a number of other things. It was filmed very badly. Can't really show it. It's very dark, dingy. It wasn't very good. For our own benefit, we have the Trans and Trans 2, the two Transformer stories from back in the day, and some of the Robotech ones. But mainly, if you see Transformers meets Robotech or Transtech online, that was our love letter to the fans rewrite of the whole thing anyway. The only stuff that wasn't included has already been included, really, in Endless Circle and Bioship Mystery. And now we're going to include a little more, which are some of the tidbits that were left over from that. And might go into some of the other, like, snippets, Generation Scorn snippets from Trans 2, or maybe some of the Storm of Robots stuff that wasn't used. But we used most of that, so. Yeah, so this is another Alicom. If it fit in with the other one, doesn't matter, because if she shows up, then it's a different person anyway. That's different characters doing things. And in the original Battle of the Alicom in '87 was a ripoff of Transformers the movie anyway, where there was just a female Unicron. Ooh, it's like, what was I doing? I was 16. I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, it was a long time ago. 30 years ago. Yeah, so it's cool to be back on this set. This is the set that I shot that movie. I'm standing right where I shot Storm of Robots in 1986. I think that's kind of amusing. And it probably was this late. Shot that. A lot of that. And I just put it together because the Transformers show was showing too many reruns. And I was like, no, I want more. And then it went into a hiatus sort of in the late 89, 90, 91, where everybody's, oh, robots aren't cool anymore. You're 20 years old. You're not supposed to like that anymore. It's like, no, I'm going to like it. Being nerdy is awesome. Liking robots is awesome. Yes, and then conventions came later. So, yes, I'm fine with doing fan films all the time. I can just do them forever. But yeah, the Transformers came back with Beast Wars shortly after that. And then, you know the whole history. I've said it many times before. By 2002, there was the Armada Unicron saga. And then Michael Bay's Transformers in 2007. And then they did a 10th anniversary Michael Bay movie called Last Night. I was not involved with that one. Had I been, it would have been a better movie. Yeah, let's just say that. However, for some reason, we were involved with Age of Extinction. But yeah, not of our own volition, let's say. Some of our names, our real names, ended up in that movie, and some of the characters. A little weird. Also, an old thread was mentioned and brought up. The Dinobot, the Transmetal era, like Transtech, the Transmetal era, during Beast Wars and that kind of thing, and the whole like design and all that. That was a Calcat thing. And they said, "Oh no, how could that have happened?" Well, actually, Bob Forward, who was one of the Beast Wars guys, was on the Mush sites back in the day and asked the fans what they wanted to do for their toys. And there was a contest thing, like there was a writing contest for Star Trek as well. The 90s, it was weird. And Forward and some of those other guys, well, he wasn't the only one, but he was one of them. Yeah, Transmetal Dinobot. I drew up a Transmetal Dinobot, sent it in, said this would be cool. Make Dinobot a Transmetal. Here's what he'd look like. Toy came out 6 months later. I did not get credit for that. I can't prove it because there were 2 or 3 others. So, yeah, don't hold me to that. But yeah, Dinobot. The Transmetal arc was interesting. But yeah, and Transtech. Transtech is an odd thing as well because Transtech was a name before it was the other stuff. It was Transtech was before it was Transformers meets Robotech. It always was in the DNA in 1986. The SDF-1 was an Autobot, so there were Robotechs there. So it's been Transtech. When it's Transtech. Since the beginning, since the 80s and in the 2000s, we realized that as a fully realized 24-episode miniseries thing, three very long miniseries movies that ended up to be 24 episodes. Very cool. The Strabog saga with Mark Cards and I, and yes, Bay and those guys have seen that, and some of them put those characters and their real names in some of their later movies without. Well, they figure these fans aren't going to say anything. Anyway, so yeah, so here we are. Here we are now in 2018, and there's more. So we figured, well, can't beat them, we're going to join them. but yeah, so yeah, that's where we are. Some of those fan site people have passed on. Wrote some of those Transformers Mush stories. Some of them are still around. Some of them got semi-famous. Some are running websites. Turns out, tformers.com and Cybertron Radio, that kind of thing, are run by the people from the Mush site. There you go. TF 2005 is done by one of them. At least 2 of them. I don't know them personally, but back in the day, my characters were on there. At least one of my stories is on someone's web blog thing, and they're thinking like, comment this thing, the robot one, yeah. I think it's the Alakan robot or whatever they call it, but it's Battle of the Alakan. Yeah, that's the one that got saved. Also, there was a version of Tillaller 1 that apparently the comic book guys who were also Mush, 2 of them, decided they liked that title. Well, I took it from Transformers the movie, and so did they. So that became a comic book. Completely different, though. They just took the title. Yeah, so turned out it's completely different. Yeah, so that's cool. Fan minds think alike. Transformers. Still like the Transformers. And, if I could do a fan anime where I was dressed up as a Transformer walking around, I would totally do that. But, yeah, just have costumes now. That don't. It would be awesome, but yeah, I would have to be at the hotel and have assemble it, and then that would be hard to do, unless I was at a room there. I don't have a room there. I'm going to be at San Jose Comic-Con though. I don't think Mark's Cars is, but I will be at San Jose Comic-Con in a few weeks, and that is awesome. So, see. Well, there, but right on. A Robotech thing, and yeah, they're still doing it. Still carrying on like we did before, so to speak. So yeah, and if you're the fan story does appear in some form in one of these future episodes, you will have writing credits, which will mean absolutely nothing monetarily or AdSense-wise. It'll have writing credits. It'll say story premise by this so-and-so and rewritten by Calcat or whatever. But yeah, I don't expect a full story to end up in there because that would be a little weird. If one of them was actually so good that we used the whole thing, that would be a little weird. Then we would have to get your permission. But I won't do that. Won't go that far. Yeah, there's some really long ones that probably wouldn't end up being in there at all because they're too long. Anyway, so yeah, you're in the studio. Here, have a look around. Oh, there's the runabout over there. Chimera. Oh, there's a Chimera crossover. Weird. There's the Nebula. Oh, yeah, so, yeah, okay. Okay. 20-second? 20-second? Something like that. Yeah, a Robotech day shoot. Macross day shoot. Return of the Shadows. Calcat. Silly Kelly. Clint Cowpoke. You're on the set. Gonna do some filming. Yeah. So I'm going to establish this here shot. About them standing there. I'm just going to keep rolling. Back with the bioship. I want to go. So, okay. Ready? A shot of them. Okay, this is sort of a soliloquy. It's a voiceover, but I'm going to throw in Rick Hunter here in the soliloquy, and you can throw in space and planets or whatever you want, but just to, or you can leave it a soliloquy on the deck. He's addressing the stage. He's facing the stage. Let's pull him back a little bit. There, it's a little better. "2046. It has been 6 months our time since the bioship returned." Yeah, so the scene where they're on the planet we have not shot. I wonder if we can even shoot that. I mean, just, you know. This was a traitor among us and made a deal with the devil. Okay, the scenes where it's Lancer, it's actually either Ariel or Louis. Because that makes more sense. Not having it be Lancer Lancer just wouldn't be there. So it's not Lancer. Be stupid. And now let's put back the other thing on the set. Let's do all of the scenes that involve this set that are next in here. Edwards, the awareness of the shadows, the evolution, that's not going to be in there yet. It will die like that. Zand, that's on the planet. Regent emerged also. I know he will liberate the Earth. Did Tyrell. May ravaging it, the engine. No, Max came up. Admiral Lisa is going to... But she lost the baby. I need to get back to the ship now. Ready to hit the hive with everything. This is all on the planet, yeah. Where do you think you're going, little man? Not Clang. Reinhardt's been fired. Yeah, this is on the planet. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Reinhardt's been firing. General target the main gun. Made the hive. Regent swung at Miria. This is probably longer than 20 minutes, actually. Crumbled before them. What destroy me? I don't know if we can do this effect just because the head popping off. How would we do that? Right of the past side. It's of the one world for the other one. Yeah, so there's yeah, the jump to Tyrol isn't in the same premise even. I don't know, I'm picking up on this shit. Let me see something here. As I'm going to shoot the rest of the scenes with the bioship, Ariel is going to look at Hunter, referring to something dangerous happening. Optimus Prime and Megatron show up on the screen. So we don't see the screen. So... Hey, did we do with the landmine? It only appears to be real, sir, but clearly also a mechanoid. Okay. The alien appears to be real, sir, but he's also a mechanoid. The alien appears to be biological, but also a mechanoid! So we've got a few alterations here. Let's turn off the Disney stick. Just for this scene, it's not really lit up. Oh, dear. It's really off. So yeah. Okay. So what's it's a chimera. Oh yes. You've been incredibly busy and unable to do any chimera
It's been
filming
insane.
for months and months, and now it is 1 year later since principal photography took place.
Yes, it has.
It's been a year, a little over a year.
Yeah, the work that I do necessitates. Typically, I'm at the job site and working by 6 in the morning. Which means that I'm up and running by 4 in the morning, which usually means that I need to be in bed quite a bit earlier than I used to be. So that's pretty much the long and short of why my availability has been regrettably cut short. But yeah. So I'm definitely feeling it. Like today, I pulled a 9.5 hour.
Well, yeah.
So. Yeah, as the man said, I got a powerful need to eat. So.
Well, yeah, let's go and eat something. Yeah.
Well, no, I just mean that's why I'm working, because I lack food and being able to pay my bills and all that stuff. But it does kind of cut my availability short for long-term projects. We are going to finish the movie this year, though. That is going to happen.
We have. Well, it's already going to be April, so. This year.
Yeah. Just about.
I wonder if we'll have to do kind of like Transtech 3 did and phone in some of it.
No, we're not going to phone this one in.
Okay.
We'll make it happen.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, what this is going to be is alternate Rick talking to Rick. My timeline is considerably changed for you. Learn all of your names to better understand you. But the funny thing is, in another universe I first came to, your expedition didn't even get lost in space. Space climber timeline, huh? I don't know if we can put it in the same shot. But I do kind of want to do that. I do kind of want to do that gag. See, there are 2 Rick Hunters here. And, yeah, they're actually... See, he's actually here, and he's actually over there. Here and over there. Alright. Lights. Alright, yeah. Here on the set. Link Cowboy here. Yep. Up. Yeah, we're doing some Robotech. And, yeah, so I'll come back, do some Robotech. And Calcat, and Fuzzy Face back there. And, yeah. It was Max Sterling. Yeah, this been yeah, coming back on set doing the Invid Invasion, and Miri is an alien life form. She's an Intradi Meltrandi, female's Intradi, so she can get away with being amoral and shooting the main bad guy in the face. He deserved it, but revenge is not a good thing, kiddies. Yeah. But still, and Rick Hunter's little comeuppance at the end, he's like, well, he's sad that they had to kill him. He doesn't reprimand Miri at all, I noticed, but he's sad about it. Oh, which may be an alteration of the timeline and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, it's funny. This is a good one. Because the space battle. He gets to wipe things out, destroy them, and crush them effortlessly. Cowpoke, I turned the other way to you can't quite see who I am, because I'm mysterious. I'm the Shadow, the Shadow Lord, whatever that is. Yeah, it's not too familiar with this Robotech thing, but it is fun. I did a little voiceover thing for the end of the movie version, which apparently was the one that didn't work. So. Was one where we put up I guess the first act was actually a draft. We actually posted it as a novel. But now we've reposted it on the website as the finished two versions of the 90-minute movie of the Robotech, the Transtech. Yeah, Space Bridge. The 90-minute version of Space Bridge from December is not the corrected version. The two 45-minute ones that we just put up is the corrected version. So watch each 45-minute segment as a 2-part episode each, and then you get to the end. Yeah, so that is the finished version of that. This is a sequel to that, in which I play Hadon's alter ego, B.D. Edwards, and he was B.D. Andrews in Robotech the movie. It's B.D. Edwards. He's the evil guy, also. A little bit like Strawbird, too. But that's Mark Scott, of course. But he's a little bit like Strawbird. Yeah, so, but he's like Attinger, too. So there's Attinger. There's that. It's like Attinger. I'm surprised that they did not. They used the Cade Yeager character, but they didn't use Calcat. They sort of did, Attinger. Cattinger. They probably didn't want to go that far. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Spicy meatball or something. Ew, this toy, I tried to transform it back into a ship. This thing that was allegedly like hundreds of dollars from like years ago, like 10 years ago or something. Well, apparently it wasn't. Whoever and they got it third party from somebody I think that they got it third party. I don't know if it was somebody. I don't think it was somebody from the church, but I got this this Veritech. This is one of the Masterpiece Veritechs. The guy complained that his kid tried to play with it and couldn't transform it and stuff. Apparently, this is many years ago. Apparently. They broke it. And then they sold it for whatever the retail was at the time, which was probably $150 or something. And they went in there and they put like a little thing, and then like a piece of like a epoxy inside the leg. And then they glued the leg back together, figuring no one's going to ever transform it because then they won't notice. the leg was actually defective inside and broken. And so this is no longer a Masterpiece Veritech. There's no reason to put it back in the box. I guess I will, but I can't sell it. So I might as well just put it in a separate, smaller box and just throw away the plastic because it's, yeah, so, so yeah, I'll just do that. So yeah, I can't fix the leg. It's if you look up close, the other one has a little notch skew that goes this way and it moves really easy. This one didn't. It was really hard, like it had been plastic glued. And when I put it in Guardian mode, it was fine, but when I tried to transform it back from Guardian mode, now it's completely stiff. It doesn't move at all. And this is a defective toy. This is probably why they're expensive. They're defective. It's not a defective toy necessarily, though. It's that whoever owned this, it was an eBay purchase near the end of the store's life years ago. Yeah, I didn't know it was broken. So, can't really, like, tell anybody, oh, your toy was broken. It's been, like, 10 years or something. So, yeah, yeah, there's, yeah, I guess, these Henshin Robo, well, it's not the Henshin, it's the Masterpiece. It's Masterpiece Rook Bartley Veritech. So the guy was saying it was like a museum piece. What he meant was his son broke it and he glued it back together. Yeah, he probably should have, whoever it was, probably should have mentioned that in the sale and then I wouldn't have bought it. But, oh well, yeah, the leg is completely, yeah, it's done. Can't repair that. Unless I had another one just like it. That would be ludicrous. Yeah, these were not cheap at the time. I found that to be the case with my Robotech, with my Skull, my Super Valkyrie as well. There were like flaws inside it. Like even though it looked okay when you transform it a couple times, it really wasn't, and it started to fall apart. This one's the same case. I guess I don't really need to. So yeah, I'm gonna deliberately take the plastic lining out of this so that, or even chuck it, I guess. I mean, I can't really, well, I guess I could use it as a broken robot in the background, but there's really no point in keeping any of the innards and the plastic and the lining and keeping it safe because it's busted already. So I'm just gonna chuck it in here and in pieces and back in the box in pieces because yeah, it's broke. So there we go. Masterpiece Veritech that actually is a masterpiece of shit. But it was probably a combination of somebody not knowing what they were doing and transforming it and breaking it and not being honest on eBay and saying, well, we actually broke this toy, so I'll just give it to you for 25 bucks. That would have been fine. Like, okay, you broke it already, so yeah. I'll have to look at some others. These are apparently rare because they do break. It is like, he did say it was like a museum piece at the time. Yeah, but there's no reason that leg should be literally that tough that I can't literally physically move that. That was glued. And when I transformed him, I broke the glue. I could glue him back together, but what's the point? So I'm just going to put him back in the box, broke it like this so that I'll find it in the box later. Oh no, yeah. I transformed it. So we need to replace all Alpha Fighters with better ones. Those suck. Yes, that's all blurry. Come on. Do we need a little light in here, I guess? Okay. And that's too much. Oh, wow, it's making it even worse. Come on. Come on. Huh. What happened to your Veritech, Miria? Looks like it was damaged in the battle, but I didn't think you got shot in the back end. What happened to your Veritech, Miria? I didn't think it got shot down in battle. It didn't. It broke as I tried to transform it. The Alpha Fighters are crap, as it turns out. Well, then we'll have to replace them with the older ones. One of those works. What happened to your Veritech, Miria? Looks like it was damaged in battle. It wasn't. When I tried to transform it back to Battleoid mode, it broke. These Alpha Fighters are kind of crap. Yes, we will have to go back to the older ones. That's the keeper. What happened to your Veritech, Miria? It looks like it was damaged in battle. It wasn't. When I tried to transform back to jet mode, it broke. It's a piece of crap. Most of the Alpha Fighters are, actually. Then we will have to replace them with the older ones. What happened to your Veritech, Miria? Was it damaged in battle? No, it broke when I transformed back to jet mode. Turns out Alpha Fighters are kind of crap. I see. Well, we will have to replace them with older ones then. Yeah, something like that. What happened to your Veritech? What happened to your Veritech, Miria? Looks like it was damaged in battle. It wasn't. When I tried to transform back to fighter mode, it broke. Turns out Alpha Fighters are kind of crap. Then we will have to replace them with the older ones. God. This is so... Actually, it turns out that I was able to... yeah, well, we're getting back at this here. Turns out that I was able to take this piece apart, analyze the screwed up joint, and it would appear, and I threw that gag in there because this is after the battle, so that's funny. I'm going to leave it in the movie because it's funny. Yeah, Mary is always getting a damaged chip, which goes back to the shadow one, the earlier one, end of the circle. That's why she doesn't have an Alpha Fighter, because it sucks. But yeah, especially the red ones, they really suck. Yeah, so this part right here is I'll turn that off. So this part right here was definitely hot glued together. When I took this apart, this little sprue right here, this thing that twists back and forth during the transformation of the toy, this little piece is sort of a pewter. It's a pewter. It's not steel, it's pewter. I don't know what they were thinking. They made it out of pewter. And it shattered. And you can't stick it back in. It broke down the middle, and on the other side it is slightly stressed and broken too. So yeah, I don't think the last person that owned this toy did this. I think it's a manufacturing defect, because I looked at other people that reviewed this same model toy by either this group or Toyomi. This is not the Toyomi version, this is the other one. Yeah, and it has the design flaws in the wings and the cockpit area, which is coming loose now after less than one transformation, and errors in several of the key quality errors in it, which other people reviewed these toys, and yeah, the metal just shreds, the plastic shreds, comes apart, or gets stuck and becomes really, really hard. Now it's this, I don't know if this is a Toyomi one or not. This is let me go see the box. Who is this guy that designed this? Just out of curiosity. It's the box with the cover and the book and all that stuff. I don't need to keep the box because now the robot is kind of dead. Except to say, I don't want this brand again. Oh yeah, this was put out by it's number 2001 for 1500. So they made 1500 of these and they're crap. Who put this out? Oh, this is the Toyomi version. Holy shit. Okay, this is the Toyomi version. Ironically, okay, this is actually a better version than the other. What? Chili out. Okay, this is a Toyomi Alpha Fighter. That explains a lot because they have damage, design flaws in the joints, leg area. This is a Toyomi. This is a later version. So it was a little cheaper than the first Masterpiece issue. This is a reissue. The Hinchi ones are a little better. This is, not worth $200. This toy is really not worth that. They're still going for that, but they're not worth it. Not if you can't even transform it a little bit, really carefully. And it just becomes all loose and floppy. Yeah, so these parts are metal, so it's die cast, but they're kind of crap. This is an old Henshin Robo. This is a Korean knockoff, and this is actually better quality plastic from the 80s than that other one. It's actually better quality. So there you go. And this is somebody else. Anyway, so there's my Don't buy this. Don't buy this toy. Okay, as I was trying to say, this was model number 02459 of 15,000 of these. Wow. So there have been a bunch of reviews of them, and the Toyomi ones are actually better than the earlier release. They're better, but yes, like the original person selling this years ago, this was a Rook one. This one even has a warning, probably saying, don't play too much with this, it's going to break. Toyomi's version is, flawed. So this was an eBay purchase. It's supposed to be Rook's Veritech. And really, for two shots in two different Trans Tech movies, it did not hold up very well at all. Now, what's funny is those, I have two of the blue guys from the Henshin Robo collection. And that's the Korean knockoff of Space Climber Matsupuda from the 80s. And although this is also kind of delicate too, what they did with the joint is better. Because they've got like this sort of, they did a plastic sprue through the back of it. With a ball joint, swivels back and forth. So it isn't movable, so it doesn't break. So yes, I'm still doing be shooting some space scenes very shortly. I was just reading up on Space Cavalry Southern Cross, which was known here as the Robotech Masters. It's the third, technically it's the third series, but when they aired it as Robotech, they made it the second. And the Invid wasn't involved. It was a separate series unto itself. It was the second. So, also, I was trying to figure out where the Southern Cross constellation should be. Of course, it was 1984. And when they thought of these series, they weren't necessarily thinking... well, let's do let's have solar systems that make sense. The Southern Cross constellation doesn't have any viable G-type stars. But in the 80s, they didn't know that. They just assumed they did. Or did they? According to the Japanese version, story set in 2124, Robotech, that Southern Cross, it mentions Tyrol. In the Japanese version, it's not called Tyrol. Let's see what they call the planet. This would be the Master's planet. They're called the Zor Lords, the Zor. It's 2120 in this version. After a Holocaust has devastated the Earth. The Holocaust seen in the Inbit story before that. But not supposed to be not connected, but yeah. So this is after the Inbit in the Japanese version. It's according to Wikipedia, they might be wrong, it's possible. I'm not going to go into the characters, it's just interesting. It's 2120. The planet is called Glory, which is funny. I knew this from watching the Japanese print with the subtitles. But anyway, let's see how much of this matches. Looks like they founded planets Proxima Centauri, Alpha and Beta as well, Epsilon Eridani, and some other close stars. The books are different, of course. The Jack McKinney books were collaboration of two authors that have passed. Anyway, but what's interesting is that this story doesn't say this constellation is the Southern Cross at all. It seems that they chose the name because many countries and principalities in the world in the 80s, and some still exist today, used that as part of their flag, the Southern Cross. So it had nothing to do with the constellation in the Southern Cross at all. Kind of like the ending of Robotech with Rick Hunter and the Expeditionary Force, and them saying Rick Hunter didn't show up in the American one, and all of us Americans going, "Oh no, they never showed that," and then they didn't show it in the other one. Kind of like that in the Japanese version of Space Climber Matsupieta. The Expeditionary Force is from Mars, and Rick Hunter is not involved in it at all. He's not mentioned because he's not there. Because it's a different story, it's a different series, it takes place 100 years later, and it's not relevant. So New Generation was the second generation. It was like 30 years later. He's not even there. So, and this one is 100 some years later. It's 2120. Anyway, anyway, what this fan film though is Robotech. So we're kind of taking the Robotech one. Actually, it makes more sense for this story, the way their hyperdrives work, for the Robotech Masters and the Invid to be local to this area of space. Just, it makes more sense. So the Masters could be from Alpha Centauri or Proxima or something. And that completely makes sense. It makes their planetary drive goes from 5 to roughly 5-year mission, 4.2 light years away. Cool. Epsilon's a bit further off. It's 11 or 12 light years away. That's cool too. It doesn't matter because they have hyperdrive, but full systems. So here we don't necessarily have to put that in there, but I just thought it'd be kind of cool to mention that particular thing. Even curiously enough, when you read the Japanese version, the blonde girl in it that everybody thinks is Dana Sterling is not in the Japanese version. It's someone else. It's somebody else entirely. So. But you can read that up on Google. I'm not going to go into all that. But yeah, her name is Jean in this one. Jean and Mary. Interestingly enough, they kept Mary in there. Bowie is still the same. Louis is still the same. But a lot of the other ones changed. Yeah, so. Anyways, Southern Cross. Did not have anything to do with the constellation in the Japanese. It was just a flag name for their society. It's Colony Planet. Interestingly enough, though, there is a connection between this one and Macross 2. Well, Macross Plus. There's a colony called Eden in Macross Plus, which was done by some of the animators of Macross and Macross Do You Remember Love. One of the animators from that, one of the producers, split off and made Macross 2, which was set 80 years later, whereas Macross Plus is 30 years later, on planet Eden. And in this version of the Robotech thing, I sort of hint that Tyrol that we see in Robotech, in the American one, is the planet Eden in one of the timelines. So, there you go. So that's the planet Eden. Yeah. So I sort of conglomerated that together. Yes, I come from the planet Eden. All right. So that story was kind of cool. I'll get to do that. So, I don't know if we'll see it, but we do see Tyrol in the background. And yeah, this story got ahead of itself. It's bigger than it was. 13-page script that has turned out to have a lot going on. That might make it longer than 22 minutes. If so, then it's 45, and then I'll just add some stuff in those other timelines and finish it off. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll put it together. See what the rough cut looks like for the con. Incidentally, yeah, it would be free. Yeah, we can't. It's free if you want to watch it. This is the con wristband. Hopefully, it's in there for the con, Comic-Con San Jose. I will be going. Mark's Cards will not be going to Con San Jose, but at some point in the next couple of months, we will do some weekend shoots and finish Chimera. Meanwhile, I can do the Robotech thing. Yeah, so we're gonna have some weekend shoots, like we did with Transtech. And yes, I asked him if we should phone in any of it, and he really doesn't want to phone in any of it. So we're not doing that. Anyway, so yeah, Southern Cross is not what the Robotech books indicated it was, and Centaurus wraps around the Southern Cross. So it's probably talking about Alpha Centauri, just because, sure. Sure, why not? Like Avatar, yeah. Yeah, Avatar ripped off Robotech, basically, and a number of other things, and Thundercats, and Pocahontas, and yeah. Avatar, not the Airbender Avatar, but Avatar with the blue Thundercat people in it. That were giants, like the Zentradi. Yeah. And they went and fought them like Robotech. Yeah. And their mecha looked kind of like Battleoids. Yeah. As well as their ship looked a little bit like some kind of weird Masters thing. Yeah. Yeah, and not to mention the album covers he ripped off to make the background. This is Calcat, the Calcatster. 2 weeks away from Comic-Con, Silicon Valley, our version of Comic-Con. Yeah, a lot of that stuff will be downloaded on the making of stuff. I just completed a rough cut of a 30-minute brand new Robotech, Transtech fan film. Not only the device of Mark's Cards, but also one of the coffee shop people, Nick from that coffee shop. Won't name the last name. The advice of how you do like a 1 or 2 person comic book series. There have been some not really viable criticism really about some of these fan films that we do, but we always point out when we do our things that our channels are for fun. There's only 2 main producers. We're doing most of the stuff in there. So it's going to look amateurish. It's not going to look professional. So don't expect it to be professional, because we never said we were. So we're just fans. We like this stuff. We like to put this stuff out. So far what we've got here is this 30-minute thing. It's a little over 30 minutes. In order to make it a 45-minute episode half thing, because it would have to go to 45 because it's 30 and we want to keep all the tidbits in there. In order to go to 45 minutes to make it half a 90, we would have to add, or at least 42 minutes. We'd have to add about 13 minutes, roughly 14 minutes of new stuff to the near the end. Basically, the battle for Aptera is in the story, or at least the ending 7 minutes of it. As we saw it years ago, as Tim and Jim and I saw it years ago. John, not so much John. He didn't care either way. Mark's Cards was like, well, show the 2 main bad guys dying. It's fine. There's probably a link to that later on with the Edwards Dragon guy / editor guy that's passing through back and forth through time. There's a virus in the computer and all that, and then this other ship blows up. Seems convoluted, but actually it's not. It flows rather well. The story is just punchier than even what we did with Space Bridge. So, yeah. It's a Transtech sequel, a true sequel to Transtech. It doesn't mesh over the other footage from before. But you have to have seen, Endless Circle, and that we did, and you had to have seen Bioship Mystery in order to get what's going on. Really, you kind of do. It recaps it a little bit. It's almost like a recap show, but it's not. It's a it plays like a recap show. I wrote it so it was like them commenting from the Bioship, typical of Star Trek: The Next Generation, commenting on what's going on the view screen as they see the Optera War and some other stuff that happened that they're observing through that. So they're kind of like the Watchers in Marvel, or like some of the other characters in DC that do that. The Monitor, perhaps. Anyway, but they could go to the land of Carta and Transtech and all that. And I think the idea here, suffices what it is a sort of MST3K, in a sense that it's a spoofy analysis of fan stories that were written, without necessarily making fun of those fans, some of which have died. That would be messed up. Some of which are still around, and none of which would be appreciative of us borrowing their stories without permission. So the idea is that if we don't know where to find them, we can't really give them homage, but we can put their pen names in the credits. If we come up with story, we've got lots of stories, but if we come up with someone we really like and want to put them in there, or really despise and want to put them in there, we can put them in there and have the hunter and crew from their washer ship, their warp ship thing, commenting on the story as it unfolds. Whether it begins or ends, we've got... In that sense, it would be like MST3K. In that sense, you would have them going like, wait a minute, that scene didn't make any sense, stuff like that, or wait a minute, so that Autobot was in love with that other Autobot, that doesn't make sense, or something like that. So you could totally do that. Have a mush thing. But as I commented earlier, it wouldn't be live action role play because it's animated. It would be play action role play. With Transformer toys and figures. But it is cool that you might get to see some of your stuff. We can't we can give credits and bylines, we will. We can't pay you. So if your story ends up in our stuff, there's your byline. Your pseudonym is there. The story was based on a premise by this person, but rewritten by Cal Cat or Mark's Cards, probably just Cal Cat, and all of his pseudonyms at the studio to fit in the timeline. I'm sure the Carta will be mentioned, and the Generation Scorned, Generation 2, that kind of thing, Transformers. A lot of that will be mentioned. 2018 would line up with Generation Scorned and the City of the Time Forgot movie, as well as a number of other things that from our own stuff that we can do for a while. But we don't want to tread over the stuff we've already done on Transtech. So, this is the Transtech. This is the one that I kind of want to do if it's going to expand this first part into 45 minutes, and then the second half another 45 minutes. I don't know if I necessarily want them to go to 2016, even though the premise of this story has them 2018. Even though the premise at the end has like an explosive event that has them heading in that direction. Let's have them stay like in the future in the other 15 minutes. Let's have them find a way to stay there, just because having them in the present isn't as interesting. Just isn't. So, and if they went back, that's fine. That's for this episode. It just makes more sense to have it stably in the one group, the one universe, and have it be a Robotech story with some Transformers thrown in here and there, as opposed to having it be Space Bridge Part 2 and having other stuff. The coffee shop guy liked the premise of the giant robots from Space Bridge fighting and then agreeing to stop fighting because they'd seen a bad movie. They'd seen Batman v Superman, And at Batman v Superman, they stopped fighting because of the name Martha. Their mothers were named Martha, so the robots are all like, well, okay, well, the other one robot's like, wait a minute, do you have a mother? And he's all, it's the Regis. Yes, that's it. And so there's this rebellion that's going on. There's these other things that are going on. I could expand on a little bit on those other timelines that are going on, including the Mush timeline. I could reference that. Probably make more sense that way, just to have the other Hunter and the other Max and maybe the Dragon Guy and some others mention some stuff that happened to them on the screen, with what you would see them in their environment doing stuff, and the Aptera battle would tie into that section, so it wouldn't it wasn't like Aptera battle is just thrown in there. It's like Aptera battle has a point for happening in the timeline of this story. This story leads to something that happened there. The repercussions of that lead into the rest of the story, like they do for the Elisa Hunter character. They would lead in for the other ones as well, and the Rick Hunter character. Developing the Robotech story further on than Harmony Gold ever did. As you know, as Robotech fans out there know, as we've said before, the Japanese version of Robotech was never connected. So the Expeditionary Force was never connected. So New Generation or Space Climber Matsupira didn't have Rick Hunter at all. So that whole cliffhanger at the end in the American one, because they wanted to make more Robotech, but they couldn't make a deal with Matchbox and Harmony Gold. They were going to make more of them. They're going to make, and Masek and those guys that became Jack McKinney books. I didn't know them or anything. I just read their stuff, watched their show. They wanted to do the Sentinels, which would have been a 65 episode series taking place during Generation 2 in the Robotech universe. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do a Sentinels thing, but I do some of the Sentinels, some of it. So it's I show some of it, just enough of it to say, oh, that's cool. And I allude to some of the stuff that I also did during the Trans 2 years in the 90s, especially the Carta 2, that kind of thing. I allude to that Hadon was actually the evil Invid agent guy that was burned as a fake god in Carta, and Carta the Return. And also he returned in Transtech as Tripredicus agent in that timeline, Transtech timeline. So that when we see a representation of the Transtech timeline at one point in there, one of them comes into size from the Transtech timeline. Oh, so yeah. So it's not that convoluted. It's not any more so. I was discussing that too, and there was like the story is not any more convoluted than any comic book series. In fact, it is a live action comic book in a sense. It's they've taken action figures, put them on a play set, and essentially playing with them and making voices behind them. Kids do that all the time, but adults do apparently too as well. There are some fan film things that are very creative out there. We're not going to copy your videos necessarily. We've already done them. We want to do stuff that's never been on video. So yes, the TLR1 CalCat version could get some elements could return, but most of that was in Transtech. So there's a lot of TLR1 Reunion of the Cities. The whole Onslaught goes out on a mission and Cyclonus is in charge. That was pretty much Transtech Part 2. So we've already done that. We've done Reunion of the Cities. Didn't do Battle of the Alicom again, though, until Space Bridge. We did Battle of the Alicom again. These are stories that I thought of before really the internet. In the 80s, during the Transformers series, when I was like 16 years old, and I went there, and there's not enough episodes to satiate my vast desire for more of your stuff. I'm going to make my own with a video camera, clunky 80s style video camera. Make my own stuff. I did. It was, I've been doing them ever since. And even when the robot craze was dying out in the early 90s, and there was this like sad and messed up like Talal or one thing, and the whole premise of the Transformers wrestling for something reason. Yeah, that didn't work. It was stupid. Didn't make any sense. I don't know what I'm saying other than Jim Chacon had just been there and said, "Have them wrestle. Yeah, they'll start wrestling matches." Yeah, that's it. That didn't happen. We never did a wrestling match, Transformer wrestling match. Not filmed anyway. We did them at the house, but not filmed. And we broke a lot of toys. Yeah, so internet started in the 90s, and these various, they would have been called news groups back then. Now they'd be chat rooms, now they'd be Facebook accounts and Transformer games and all that stuff. But these were stories that were written out as mush. I guess that's a term. They were role play, but they were role play stories. Some of them became famous. We won't be using the famous ones. But yeah, and we won't be using the ones that are like the size of a epic novel, because how? Why? We're still doing Chimera, so we can't just do nothing but Transformers. For now, I've put this out for Silicon Valley Comic Con. Well, not for the convention. That sounds like I'm going to go to the convention and air it there. No. I'm putting it out on my channel. I'm at the convention. To whet your appetite for more. Yes, so I'll do that. Yeah, I will be at the convention. I don't think Mark's Cards is going, but I'm going to be there. We'll be hanging out there at the convention. Fanime doesn't have... That's a little later. Doesn't have really a whole lot of cool guests. But we're also going to do Fanime too. But, yeah, so yeah, there would be, we wouldn't take the credit for the other stuff. We would put a byline up that would say the other stuff is happening. We would put a byline up that says, okay, this is Marlo Fuck You's story. And Marlo Fuck You will say him, fuck you, Marlo. Story premised by Marlo Fuck You, rewritten by MC Kim or Calcata or something. That would indicate that, okay, this person, he had a story and we rewrote it to fit this canon. So it's probably been changed. A lot of the rebels, a lot of the characters, a lot of the good guys and bad guys are all basically stereotypes of them anyway. There's always some sort of evil faction or something. The dragon guy can represent that or something, or Hadon or something. Yeah, and there's a whole vast thing. There was even one that was a Lord of the Flies meets Transformers. I don't know how we're gonna do that. There was a Star Trek one with the Borg Transformers. Well, what it would probably do with that one is, instead of the Borg attacking the Autobots and Decepticons, that doesn't make sense. It's probably just a cybernetic race that's attacking them. That's another cybernetic bio-race thing. That could work, but not the Borg, because that's stupid. It's just... but yeah, it would be written to an extent that it would be like, okay, they're going to be assimilated by maybe the Invid or something. But yes, the Fourth Robotech War begins. But it's not the Haydenites, it's the Haydenite rebels. It never made any sense in Shadow Chronicles that the Haydenites would have been the bad guys. No, the Haydenite rebels are the bad guys. And the Haydenites were inexplicably tied with the Invid and the Masters in the beginning. They were all allies. So that actually makes sense. That they would be the anti-Haydenites. The ones Hunter encountered, and the Sphyricians and the Cariburians, were the good guy ones. And some of the bad guy ones were interspersed throughout them. So when they gave them the synchro cannons to go on the space battle thing, and there's a flaw in them, they didn't know, the Haydenites that gave them it didn't know the bad guy ones had done that. So yeah, that makes more sense. They didn't even know. The awareness did not foresee. It makes a little more sense in this story what the shutoff thing was all about in the other stories. They sort of referenced some of the... It's almost a companion to Space Bridge. It's almost an added, this shadow thing. I rather like how it came out. It's cool. And certainly I can add 13, 14 minutes to expand, not necessarily to fill it. It's not filler. It's filling. It would be fixing plot confusion in it, not necessarily plot holes, but confusion in that they. Yeah, we need some more scenes where they're not on the ship staring at a screen. They're on a planet or something. I think we could have scenes where we've got the two Ricks. We could get the two Ricks talking on the screen. Probably don't need to do too much of that. And maybe the Rick and the Max. Maybe the G.I. Joes are talking to the robot on the one planet. Maybe there's some more of Optimus Prime talking to Max or something. Or something that's connected to those other stories that we could throw in to not to pad it, but to fix confusion and convolution that's a little bit prevalent in there and connected to the other stuff. And Hadon and the other guy and the war, because they essentially blew up the this warship thing. And then I jokingly suggested that, oh yeah, I'd blast them back into time to 1999 and they become the Robotech Masters. No, I was kidding. That's stupid. Or Minmay becomes the Zor, mother of Zor, or something. That was actually Robotech 3000. That was Carl Masek's. Gosh, idea. You know what the funny thing is about Masek? He was very good at dubbing other people's stuff, like Robotech, and not so much Megazone 23, and not so much Fist of the North Star, but Robotech, yes, him and his guys, Armored Armagama, all that. But I met Mark's Cards, and I met him at a convention when he was still living. That is, Masek has died a couple of years ago. I think he died in 2015 or late 2014 during making him. Maybe he saw our parody and killed him. No, probably not. But Masek, yeah, we saw him at a convention. He was really bizarre. And he was really bitter about how Harmony Gold screwed him about the Sentinels. But yeah, I read those Sentinel stories in the books and the screenplays, and I had the art book and all that. I sold most of the art book stuff, I think. But probably should have kept it. The Palladium books, art books, stuff. Very valuable information. But yes, so yeah, so anyway, so yeah, Masek is a weird guy, and Harmony Gold's deal with the Matchbox fell through, and then they didn't get one from somebody like Hasbro or something. They just didn't do it. Some other companies later picked up the slack. The company that did Exo Squad helped to re-release some of the robot stuff in the 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, on the time of the Sentinels. They never really re-released the Legios Robo, Henshin Robo fighters, because here, but over in Korea they did. It turns out that the Henshin Robos, although delicate, are the most durable beta alpha fighters made. The beta fighters of the Toyomi are better, but these are the most. But the alpha fighter of the Tonami, not so much, and the other group, not so much. Toyomi is a little better than the other group. So the Masterpiece Veritechs are not worth it. If they were $60 a piece, they'd be worth it. Then if they break, just get more of them. But at over $200 a pop, no, they're not worth it. Especially if they're broken in the box. And I don't think I ended up with a broken toy that someone tried to fix. I think that it looked like, cause when I took it apart, I took the leg apart, this toy broke during production. It looked like they screwed it up. It was a factory defect in the plastic, because there was no way they could wind that around and stick it back in there. The person having it couldn't have done that unless they like super glued it or something. It's conceivable whoever had it before that guy did it. So who knows? And I don't know who that guy was. It wasn't actually anyone I knew. Turns out. But yeah, you get something on eBay. You never know. Somebody might glue it together. Even at Toy Fair stuff, you got to look out for like people super gluing together their mega roads and stuff. But yeah. So yeah. There's always a toy breakage during production, and yeah, here we are doing Robotech, and yeah, Mark's Cards was on the set last Thursday. He's starting to pop up again on this Thursday. This shoot was for a 20-minute episode, was 22-minute episode, was at this point well over, because I did some scene pickups today, well over 10 days, a little over 10 days. Yeah, so anyway, a 10-day shoot for the original. This was actually, yeah, more than 10 days. Yeah, and yeah, so no credits, and this is just a half-hour raw footage version. Yeah, so I had fun. Yeah, it's gonna be good. See what? Silicon Valley Comic Con. Silicon Valley. Ooh. Not as many Star Trek people there this year. And they don't have an Orville costume. There's something similar, though. Can't pull it off. Ooh, actually, that blue one with the side trim that goes like this looks like Discovery. If it had also had this, but it don't. Yeah, there's certain to be Kitty Key, the martial sportist, because he always shows up, even though he's the most. The general fan consensus of the channels is that Kitty Key is a non-entity. They like Cowpoke and they like Kelly, Silly Kelly. Well, who doesn't like Silly Kelly? It's funny. But yeah, Kitty Key. What? But yeah. Although Ernie Ray Jr. found him funny. So there we go. It's like, what? You're not Grandmaster. No. Went back and got my Grandmaster belt. Yeah, that's it. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. No. Anyway, yeah. Pet Cat Doe, as Mr. Shadow Dancer said. The Bullshido guy. Yeah. That site can be amusing. Check that out. Or don't. I'm not giving a shout out to Bushido. Bullshido. It's a parody of Bushido. Of course, for the other versions. Yeah. Robotech, Mash LARP thing. It's not a LARP, though. It's not a lot of action. It may be interesting. It may be that that won't last that long. I don't know. But Carta over the rise. That was going to be the third one. We've already done that too, because that was reincorporated into Trans Tech 1, 2, and 3, and it's the third Trans Tech movie, so it's already there. Yeah, we already did Trans Tech pretty much covered everything that I did, at least on those bulletin boards. It's all there, and some of the stuff the other people did, including the mysterious fight between the two, the crab and the Beast Wars crab and the other guy. Fighting in time and space. The crab and the manta ray, they were fighting each other. Rampage and Depth Charge. And oddly enough, on this Robotech thing and the making of thing, I blanked on who that dude, the big bat dude, was. That was on the planet when I was doing the making of thing. Well, who's this guy? The bat dude. It's Night Scream. It's fucking Night Scream. I was like, oh, Night Scream. All right. I guess he didn't have much of an impact when he was on Beast Machines, and I was just like, giant Night Scream. Yeah. Well, he plays the Regent in this one. And the reason the Regent is different characters in this one is the earlier Regent. And I used Veritex that were from earlier one, so the secondary model ones, the little 1 in 60-inch ones that were non-transformable. those from the 20th anniversary of Robotech. Let's see, Robotech was 84, so technically it's 2018. They should be on about doing 35th anniversary pretty soon. It was the 30th a while back, 2015. And they had some really cool looking new ones that Macross, the new Macross Delta, but I haven't seen the show, so yeah, it's not here in the States, and even the pirates at the convention didn't have it. Although that one guy at the convention from anime did have one of them did have the whole box set of Sailor Moon Series 1. Which, if you're a Sailor Moon fan, would have been really cool to have, but I wasn't, so I didn't buy it. But yeah, it was the English dub, I think. No, it was the dubbed one. It's a cheaper one, dubbed. So yeah, it was the legitimate issue dub one. He didn't want to sell any illegitimate stuff, or at least he didn't want to tell me that he had any. It's like, no, I don't look like a nerd. But yeah, so, yeah. Robotech. Gundam is the same period, but no, you need a Transformer Autobot. You gotta have an auto. It could have been Optimus Prime. That would have made sense. Like G1 Optimus Prime with a gun. That totally would have made sense. But they didn't do that. They didn't want to get permission from Paramount for that. Probably could have gotten it. He's been in Optimus Prime was in video games, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway, yeah. There is supposed to be the distant future of 2046. Same time as my Robotech story with Calcat. Oh, Scotch happens to be 2046. So they should have thrown in the Robotech. That would have. A Valkyrie from Robotech would have made sense. He can have a gun too. But the Iron Giant's supposed to be a pacifist. He doesn't have a gun. I am compiling the Robotech movie for the Comic-Con. Well, it's not for the Comic-Con. It's going to be out before the Comic-Con. On video, so you can watch it on the Calcat site. It's a 46-minute, technically pilot. Yeah, so doing a commercial for that I shouldn't be doing. But yeah, Optimus Prime would have been ideal for that robot scene. It was just a G1 Optimus Prime. And then they put that up, and they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, he's got Optimus. That makes more sense. Every kid in the 80s had a Transformers. They still do, but every kid... yeah. No Voltron. No Optimus Prime. No Megatron. We'll make a Megatron then. It's Megatron. Schmegs comes in, he's like, one shall stand, one shall fall. And like, that's the way the game should have ended, with him guessing on whether Prime should die or not. Yeah. Oh. You see, Werewolf Fuzzy Face is sort of the Marlon Brando to the more Christopher Walken type of character in the other stories. He's more of a rat trap. He's more rat trap than he is Walken. Christopher Walken is more different stuff. He's more Brando. He's more Chicago than New York. Walken is New York, or at least acting. Yeah, so that's my review. It's a short review from Werewolf Fuzzy Face, co-director of the Robotech Trans-Tech pilot movie sequel to Bioship. Sequel to sequel to, what was it, Endless Circle. Endless Circle, Space, Bioship, and now this one. Of which is probably part one of, there's probably going to be another 46-minute chapter in this particular genre story. I haven't written that one yet. But yeah, so anyway. That's my review of the Bioship. Yeah, and for some reason I went on about my thing instead. Actually, my review of the sort of the other movie. But I kept going back to my movie.